Okay, so I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. It was lots of abuse. It was physical and verbal abuse. My dad is an alcoholic, and you just never knew what you were getting from one moment to the next. I lived in fear of his words, of his hands, basically, and all my life I've just struggled with fear in general, of rejection, of not being good enough, of just lack of confidence in general. I always thought, when I got married, things would get better. And, I think I looked to my husband to rescue me, to save me, to, just fix everything. But that was a mistake as well. So as the marriage went on, the feelings of rejection and insecurity just got worse. And those feelings turned into thoughts of suicide. And it was just a really dark time in my life. At the time, I was working at a bank, and there was a lady that I worked with there, a lovely lady. She was a Christian, and she was so open with how she shared her faith, and I always just found listening to her just so encouraging. My in-laws were Christians, and on a Sunday afternoon they would always come and visit, and then they would go off to the evening service at church. And eventually I plucked up the courage to ask if I could go and join them. And so off I went, and I have to say, I think it ended up being the best night of my life. I got to church and the place was packed. It was filled with people that were just happy. They were chatty, and it was just such a welcoming environment. When the band started, the worship and the praise was just out of this world. It was just like, wow. And there was a presence in the room that was just totally unexplainable, but it was just a warmth, and I just felt so at peace there, a peace that I hadn't had for a long time. At the end of the service, the pastor, he spoke about Jesus and him dying on the cross, and just his deep love for us and forgiveness. And he had an altar call, and before I knew it, my hand was in the air, and I shot to the front of the church, and I couldn't help myself, and I gave my life to Jesus there and then. I think it was just honestly the best evening of my life. I'd like to say that things was an instant change, but it came gradually as I got to know the person of Jesus, of who he is in me, what he says about me, that I'm loved, that I'm accepted, that I'm more than enough, that I'm his daughter. And I don't have to try and get acceptance. As I got to know him more, my identity changed from being what my dad said about me and what the world has said about me to what he was saying about me. And it's just gradual changes. But what I can say, he is my rock, he is my refuge, he's my safe place, he's my best friend. He is the first person I think of in the morning, and he's the last person I think of at night. I couldn't do this life without him. He's taking me on a path of healing and restoration. And I'm still on that process, I'm still on that road. And there's good days and there's still some bad days. But I know that he's with me, and he's the one that carries me, and he's got good things ahead. And I just want to show him my love for him. I want to honor him with my life. I want to serve him and just be the best version of me.